Boom.
Bam.
Nice. Hello.
Hey,
Welcome to episode 2 of Dev Dialogue. I am pleased to have the one and only Mr. Ken Wheeler on today. Thank you
what
so
up?
much for being here, Ken.
Thanks so much for having.
This is really awesome. This podcast has been kind of a dream of mine for a while, something I've had on my to-do someday list. And it's really because of you that I finally decided to make that day today. So I have to thank you for getting me off of the couch and getting me,
You're making it happen.
to this desk. Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. And why don't you give us your background and tell us how you got into tech?
How I got into tech. Like fundamentally.
Yeah. What's your origin story?
Oh, so I don't know. When I was like a little kid, I was like a kid, right? Like the games on the computer, everything was like floppy disk, like the not the cool ones with the metal, right? Like the big flat boys. You know what I'm talking about? So it was
They're
like,
the
no, yeah,
3x5, 5x7, the
the
ones that
five
were
the 5x7, yeah,
actually floppy. Yeah.
yeah. So like all the games were on that, right? But it was like not that good of games, right? It was like all
Right.
like text-based games. And it wasn't like fucking Xbox where like the shit comes up and it's like, oh, pick which game you want, right? Like
Mhm.
to like run the game, you'd have to like dir/p and cd into it and run these commands and shit on the command line, right? So like I got like pretty like computer proficient just from like fucking around with like I don't know, some like IBM 2 or whatever the fuck it was at the time. And then when I was in, so like, I guess like I became like typing proficient, like earlier than school, sort of, right? So it's like when I got to school, like second grade or something, right? Like they started doing like typing classes. So it was like Mavis Beacon. You ever seen that?
It sounds familiar. It's a
It
little
was like
fuzzy.
it was like this typing program. It was like one of like those like super shitty DOS ones, right? But then now I'm
Mm.
sure it's like 3D and cool and shit. But like back then it was like DOS, right? But
Mhm.
it like they made it like a game so that it was like a little bit more fun and challenging to do. And it's like you're in like a car and like there's like bugs that hit the windshield if you miss a type, right? So it's like you're like you want to like go for speed, which like controls the speed of the car, but then like you don't want to miss a character because then you'll get a bug on the windshield.
Hmm.
So I like already knew how to type, so I was just like destroying the shit, setting world records. And right, like eventually they just let me do whatever I want. They're like, okay, fine, you just fuck around, do whatever you want. And I found QBasic, which is the fucking shit. Like, it's still the shit, but like back then, like I'm like, what the fuck is QBasic? I open this up, and it's like, oh, like you like see the manual, and you can like do things like printing things. And then I'm like, ooh, you can draw. And like even now, when I like teach my kids, I try to like teach them. Like I'll go and like try and teach them Python. I'm like, hey, check this out. This is how you draw. So you draw shit. Like nobody's like, oh, how do I like curl a fucking PDF, they like want to draw or do something creative, right? So like I'd go there and like start doing like graphics math, right? Like some like while loop to draw like a gradient between two colors on the screen or that kind of thing, right? And got kind of into that, and then we became like computer hooligans, me and the homies, right? Like that was like when like games were starting to pop off, like everybody's playing like StarCraft. There was like AOL, so we got into Visual Basic. We were like making like punters, and like that was like weirdly cool at the time, even though it shouldn't have been at all.
Can you talk about what a punter is?
Oh, so a punter is like, do you know what a punter is?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
So for those of us who don't know.
okay. So like way back in the day, right? Like the internet itself was basically AOL, right? You get like these like CDs in the mail. It's like fucking try AOL today. They try this internet thing. It's kind of chill, right? And
Mhm.
you're like, Mom, we should do this internet thing, right? So like if you had a computer that had a modem, you would hook it into your phone line, right? And then you would go and hit like connect into AOL. And it would take like a whole ass minute to connect, and it happened over your phone, so you couldn't get phone calls. Your line would be busy while you were on the internet, right? So you hit connect, and it'd be like right? And like that's like the modem connecting. And I'm not even kidding. You watch a YouTube video, this shit
Oh,
actually happened. It's amazing.
I remember
And
the dial-up noise for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then right, like you'd go and it would be like, welcome. And it's like, you've got mail. And it was like the funniest shit, right? And you go in there and there'd be like chat rooms, you know, you get in there, you're like, what's up? Right. And you have like email and all this fucking shit. But you had like Messenger, right? Which was fucking tight, right? So you could sit there and like you had like friends in class and like you're on there, you're like messaging them. You're like, what's up, bitch? Duh, right? So like you come to find out that like you can write these programs in Visual Basic that will do certain things for you. Like you can like kick your friends offline.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah, like DDoS them off the internet. So like that's a punter, right? You sit there and like
Okay.
knock somebody off the internet and you're like, haha, hacked you, right? But they did like so many other stupid things too. Like it would like you get like early MySpace tier configure like customization. Like you'd like be able to like paste something into the chat that was like gradient colors, right? And it would have
Right.
like these cool like ASCII patterns around it and shit. Like it was kind of funny. Right, so we would like build those, and that was like hilarious. And then like we'd build like others like stupid like games. We would build a lot of stuff like that. And then computers got like a little less cool. I got like way more into music
Mm.
because like I figured out like, oh, I can use the computer to make beats. And then that kicked off like a decade of hooliganism, just pure shenanigans. Went and did music like professionally. That didn't really work out. And I came back and I'm like, you know, working construction and shit. My mom's like, fucking, da, 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 you got to get a job. Duh. I have a fucking job. She's like, no, you got to get like a career, like a fucking job, right? And I'm like, okay, fine. Let me look. So I go and like, that's the weirdest thing because like, A, she always told me to stop fucking around on the computer. B, she told me like construction, like, and, like get a different, like, that's like a fine career.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wish I was an electrician right now. I fucking AI can't do that. But I digress. Like I went and I looked in like the back of the newspaper. And that's how we used to do it back then. To be in like the back of the newspaper. There's like 35 jobs.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's
The
like web
wanted
developer.
ads.
Yeah. It's like web developer. And I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck it. I'm like, I could do that. So I call them up, like, you have experience? I'm like, yeah, like 1-2 years, I got it all. This, so, you know, you lie your way in there.
Mm-hmm.
Got in, we're at Flash websites, right? Starting off. And then like the modern arc started like probably like 3 years in, right? I'm like nice at this point. Like when I first got in, I like backfilled over the 2 months, the initial 2 months.
Mm.
I was just like, all right, let's correct the lies. It was productive doing things. It was awesome. And then like 3 years in, they killed they killed Flash, right? Like the iOS killed Flash.
Right, right.
So I'm like, fuck, right? And then I was like, so guys, I guess like if everyone's gonna, and, you know, you had like a year buffer or so because nobody really gave a shit like initially. But you know,
Right.
they're like, oh, fucking the restaurant website doesn't work on the phone. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, guys, I guess we should like lean into this shit. And like that was like jQuery. That was like PHP. Like everybody's using like Cake PHP back then.
Mm-hmm. 2009, 2010.
Give or take-ish. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was that's the origin right then and there.
Nice. Been doing it ever since?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Out and about in many different ways. Mostly React now.
Yeah.
A little back end, but I still love Flash. I'll never forgive them for killing Flash. Flash was the best.
It was fun. Yeah. I used to build like HTML websites, but with huge Flash banners, and the navigation was all built in Flash. So, and then I remember it was 2008 when I worked at that job. And I remember my manager got the first iPhone that ever came out. And she was like, walked into our little pod of cubicles and was like showing it off. And I thought she was just like flexing. I didn't realize she was like, no, this is the future. We're going to be designing for this form factor. But
Do you remember how
Yeah.
cock diesel that shit was?
No, yeah, like
Like
three
I don't know.
people.
I got that one like I don't know, like 2 years after it came out, like fucking used or something. And like you could drop that shit like 20 feet and it wouldn't break.
Oh, nice. No, I kept my flip phone for long
What was your
after
flip
that.
phone?
It was a Kyocera,
Nice.
like from Verizon. It was
I,
just
I
a
was
yeah,
I was a Motorola Razor fuckboy.
nice.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, yes, I envious of people like you for sure.
I so when
I
I
was
when
like,
I
what's cheap and durable?
so we used to have this one friend, right? I guess I'm still friends with the guy, but he was the funniest fucking dude, right? This dude would like every time he get a call, right? He'd act like it was the biggest inconvenience of his life.
Mm.
He'd get the call and he'd like look at the little baby display on the front of it and he'd be like, and then he'd flip it open and he'd be like, literally every single time a call, and then he'd be like, "Boop, sup?" And we used to be like all fucked up at parties and like everyone like, do him on the phone real quick, do him on the phone real quick. I'd be like, it was amazing.
Oh man. Yeah, those were the first ones to be capable of internet too. I mean, I remember like the internet on my Kyocera flip phone. It was awful. It was like those text-based early DOS games.
That's like
But
1G.
yeah, yeah. So like you'd try to check your email, and it would be impossible. So
It was
I think I
really good.
tried to use it once, but it did have a web browser.
It had a web browser, but it rendered everything like Craigslist kind of, and like maybe like a couple images.
Worse, it was almost like dot matrix rendered.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real shitty.
Like sometimes I'll be on like old people phones who still have like those phones, and it's still not like a real browser.
Mm-hmm.
I like going on
Yeah,
like, oh, this is crazy.
I don't
Um,
think it can be like.
did you ever do BlackBerry stuff?
That was my first smartphone was a BlackBerry.
Which one?
That um I don't know. It was like one of the last ones that they made, I think. I
Was
got
it the
it.
touchscreen clicky boy?
It was clicky, not touch screen, I don't think. But it still had the the physical keypad,
Yeah.
but it did have a full
Did it have the
like
roller boy? Little roller.
the roller in
Yeah,
the
the
middle.
curve.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
thing
yeah.
was the fucking jam. I love that shit. You
It
know
was
what?
great.
I'll tell you what. Not just that, but like, I mean, obviously that, but also like T9. Like, there's something like now, like you
Like
have
the
like the iPhone.
calculator?
No,
Your
no, no.
graphics
Like
calculator?
you know how you
Oh.
could like text with like the numbers,
Oh,
like hit
oh,
it
the
like
T9 texting. Yeah,
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 hit it like three
yeah.
times.
To
Like
get
I could
to yeah.
like back then with a below the BlackBerry or like T9, I could like drive and like send text like not even like with my eyes on the road. I would just be
Mhm.
doing it. Da, 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 da. And like that's one of my biggest things that I fucking hate about iPhones now is that they took away the thumbprint to unlock.
Mm.
And like now every single time like to like do anything you have to like blue steel it like you're inspecting a mole on somebody's back. Like it's still not opening up, right? They're like,
Oh, that's funny.
yeah, it fucking sucks. Like I would love to just be able to unlock it like right here and like take a picture and like without being like, hold on a sec, I'm gonna Apple Pay real quick, like and then it's like the fucking worst.
Yeah, that sounds I mean, I still have a passcode for mine. I don't fuck with the biometrics.
You know what? I should check my mailbox. Did you see the Clicks keyboard?
Uh-uh.
So they came out with like a like iPhone case, and it's like you put your iPhone in. It's like a regular iPhone like case, right? Like this, but it's
Mhm.
got like a whole ass like BlackBerry keyboard on the bottom of it.
Oh, yeah, that's tight. I
Yeah, so
have
like
one of those for my Xbox controller. It
nice,
just yeah, it's pretty
but
sweet.
it's pretty cool because like like when you focus and input, it doesn't like show like the on-screen keyboard anymore.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like you could just sit there, and it's also hilarious because it's like bright ass yellow and it's like fucking 9 inches long. So you're sitting here like, I've been really excited for this thing to come. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I
Get my
can't wait to
keyboard
see
back.
that. We'll see that on Twitter or
You sure
X, I'm
will.
sure. Yeah, tight. Nice, bringing back the physical keyboard. I love it.
That's right. I hope it's like
Cool.
mechanical. I hope it's like really like obnoxiously in a restaurant clickily loud. Like It'll be good.
Nice. So besides the new keyboard for your smartphone, what are you working on now that's exciting? And
Well, I've been so busy with the third kid that
mm-hmm.
not a lot of time to do a whole lot of anything.
That makes
But
sense. I
any free
forgot
time
you
that
have a little one, huh?
yeah. But when I do have free time to play, most of it's in AI these days.
Nice.
Um, doing some AI music stuff, trying to learn. So like the whole like GPT rapper thing. That's cool. Um, and I'm past that. Like I could totally do that, right? But trying to learn like a little bit more fundamental stuff in that space, like actually training the models and stuff like that. And I've come to the conclusion that I don't really have the smarts or money to pull that off. Like a lot of like the
Interesting.
really like fundamental, like a lot of the fundamental shit that you see, like the sickest shit, right? Like not anybody could go and train models to do stuff, right? But like, have you seen like Suno?
I have not. Well,
Suno's like the one where it like makes like a whole ass 3-minute song for you. You
that
didn't see
sounds
that on Twitter?
awesome. I haven't been. Nope. I really am kind of on the surface level with the Chat GPT, and you know, I like Imagine by Meta, the image one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like for me, like if I ever wanted to try and turn something into a company, I know there's no moat, but I want there to be like a little bit of a moat around it. Like so I feel like being able to have like a proprietary model that I understood and could tune and yada yada, that kind of thing. Like that
Mm-hmm.
would be like an important part of me like committing to like actually trying to pursue like a business thing with AI. That's why I've been looking into it, but it's also like extremely difficult to compete with like a lot of the incumbents in the space who are like machine learning PhDs from Stanford with fucking $20 million in compute. like, like back in the day, right? You used to be able to like fire up some PHP and like, if you were willing to drink coffee and stay up till 3 a.m, you could make like a Facebook tier web. Nothing was preventing you from making Facebook.
Right.
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 Obviously, like as you scale, right, you have to like buy servers to support it and everything like that. But like nothing is preventing you from necessarily writing the front end code and adding features to make Facebook.
100%. That's how they did it.
Yeah. Yeah. But like now, and I mean that's like any of these, right? Like like everything was pretty democratized, right? Like you could make like fucking DoorDash if you wanted to, or you can make Shopify or Spotify or any of these things. Whereas now, like to actually make like a really good model, like a really, really good model, like from scratch, like that's like a fucking pretty serious undertaking, generally speaking. Like, and a lot of the time that's like even legally curious in and of itself, because like a lot of that source material, like where the fuck did that come from?
Right. Right. Because if you're making it from scratch, are you really making it from scratch, or are you, building on a framework or leveraging NPM modules or working with some open source that already exists? Or are you like literally starting from, whatever language, like at the like basic level?
So I think there's like levels to it, right? Like you can
Mhm.
totally take like an open source model and then train it how you want.
Mhm.
But a lot of the truly impressive shit that you're seeing out there, like when they see like GPT-4 that dropped, right? Or like Suno or Sora or any of these things, right? Like a
Mhm.
lot of fucking money went into training that, because it costs money, right? The compute costs money. Not just that, like the data cost money, unless you're just scraping it off the fucking open internet.
Yeah, which is problematic in
Yeah, probably what they're doing.
certain ways.
But a lot of time,
Yeah.
like you'll see, like they won't open source it because, or like they won't make it like available in that respect, because probably a lot of that. I still feel like someday the copyright thing is gonna come home and bite them, maybe. But
I mean, I think a lot of people are pushing for that. People who feel like their intellectual property is being ripped and repurposed without, even, so much as credit or acknowledgement. Because, I mean, I don't know, if you spend your career building up a skill and then some prompt engineer makes essentially the same thing in a couple minutes, it's going to feel kind of shitty, and you might want to seek recompense for that.
That was like one of like my whole fucking things with the whole Devon thing. Right? Like one of the main investors is like the ex-CEO of GitHub, right? And as a dude with some pretty serious repos on GitHub.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, you're gonna fucking sit here after I not just fucking put my shit on your website for free, but fucking paid you to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna turn around, take all that shit, and train a fucking replacement for me, like intentionally train a replacement for me on my own shit, right? And be like, fuck you, right? Like, are you kidding me? Like the I don't understand how the balls fit in the state of San Francisco for a move like that.
Right.
City of San Francisco.
Well,
but,
you can call it a state if you want. It's fine.
State of yeah.
It might as well
they
be.
might as
San
well be
Francisco's
separate fucking
not.
states.
Yeah.
That whole, but you have to be out of your fucking mind. Like, I don't know. Yeah. And like I guess I heard it's like not even that good. Like, it's fine, it's okay, but like still, like the gall to fucking train that shit. It got trained on GitHub.
And it's only gonna get better too. But
yeah,
I don't know. If you want to have a positive spin on it, the best I can say is like, we as developers, as engineers, we stand on the shoulders of giants, of the people who've come before us and pioneered this industry. And now AI is standing on those shoulders. So we, in turn, and the developers of the future get to stand on AI's shoulders and leverage it to build something even better. Hopefully it doesn't just put 100 million people out of a job.
It's probably the latter, but the one way that I look at it, I guess the saving grace here is that it's actually not that good. And the biggest thing is that it can only do shit that has been done. And that applies to everything, right? I had a good buddy and he told me like go try and like generate like a specific thing, right? Like I'll tell you something to generate, right? And he like told me, and it was like something like a human face, but like the eyes are flipped upside down, right? And like the nose is sideways or something like that. And it can't fucking do it, right? Because it's like I guess the way that the math works, it's like, yeah, you could try it. It's crazy. It can't do it.
Too out of the box because it's something it hasn't seen.
Yeah, it's something that it doesn't have any idea. Like, yeah, so like it can't do any new things, right? So like if you came up with new like obviously if you're like make trap music, it has like a ton of like source material. If I make like a new kind of music that's like the weirdest shit you've ever heard, and it never had access to that, then you couldn't tell it to make that.
Yeah, so it's not truly generative yet. It's just regurgitating and remixing what it has access to. Interesting.
It's like a better search engine.
Yeah, it's just like a chatbot, like it's just a series of if this then that.
Yeah,
and like mashing them all up,
like playing telephone almost, right? Like it's like if you had a search engine that's gonna like fucking like paraphrase, like it goes and Googles it, and then it's like, yeah, so you could be like paid to do. Wouldn't it be funny? Like, did you hear that shit about the Amazon checkout? So remember those stores that they had where it was like Amazon, where you could like walk in and
walk out, and it just dings your card or your bank account.
Yeah, like it's like, oh yeah, well, fucking AI and shit like goes and knows what you're doing and sees you picking shit up and da da da. Turns out that was all bullshit. It's like 1,000 dudes in India
just watching on cameras.
Yeah, watching on cameras. That's literally all it was. It was their AI.
Just picking up the what do you call it? Like the tracking in the barcode. Yeah.
He's got a milk. Like, how funny would it be if that's what ChatGPT was? right?
Just
A bunch of dudes and God
a
knows
bunch
where,
of
and then
dudes.
and like the shit takes like 45 seconds. Like it might be some dude he's sitting there like, "Hi, fuck, let me Google this real quick." Like one hand is like typing out like, "Well, the answer to that question is."
Like rephrasing your question as a statement for the answer.
I'm glad you asked. No, I mean it's clearly
Yeah.
the transformer boop 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 pop, right? But
Hmm.
still, it's like a fucking search engine, right? So it can't do anything new. So
Right.
I think one of the coolest things moving forward would be to hack hack it. Like I heard about like artists and like God, aren't they like starving enough? Like that's like that's one of the things with AI for me that fucks me up is that like you could like solve world hunger or cure fucking cancer or anything in the world. You're like, I tell you what, priority number one, let's fucking put artists out of business. Like,
It's diabolical for
it's
sure.
truly. And then I heard that they had something where they figured out like they could like poison it. Like they made images that were designed to fuck with its algorithm, and I think that's great.
That's wonderful.
I
Yeah.
would love. I'd like to do the music equivalent of that. Maybe I said listen. I do not know. I don't have the wherewithal. I'm busy. I have fucking kids and shit. But like, if I had the time, I would like just push the fucking most obfuscated bullshit code with wonderful comments to GitHub.
Nice.
Just to fuck it up so it becomes fucking so stupid, right? And then like anytime you suggest it, and anybody's like, "Isn't that what we already do?" Right? Like, oh, we're bad at coding. I'm like, no, but I'm being fucking serious, you idiots. Like, really, let's like spam
We
the
could
shit
be
out.
worse. Come on. Give us some credit.
Yeah, I'm fucking begging you to take this seriously. Like,
That's a great idea. I mean, I'm sure even I could, you know, feed it worse code.
you could just write a script that like you fucking use AI to generate the comments like yeah, could you give me like a set of like fucking I don't know like 30 comments that you would use in the diagramming of like like an open source thing, and it give you all the comments and then you loop through them and like put a comment here, put a comment there, and then like, oh yeah, okay, so can you just put like absolute random fucking letters underneath that, like give me like somewhere in between like 30 and 60 random characters, right? And it's like position the div centered. And then if enough people push that up to GitHub, just absolutely flooded GitHub with that bullshit, right? They go and start training it on that, right? And like, how do you center a div? And things like, right, like ABC 777, right? Like,
Yeah. Measure the height of the browser window and then divide by half. And then, yeah.
It's like, oh yeah. Can you explain like templating to me and C++? It's just like chicken. You like come again?
Gaslighting the AI. I like it.
Yeah. No, I'm into that. I'm really into that. But I think like moving forward, right, it'll be cool to have protection. No, I think it'd be cool to like fucking be able to know that it's gonna try and take it in. And then like come up with a way to like actually enforce the copyright, like so that like okay, rich Silicon Valley boys, you got the first round, but anything new that I make, hands off. Hands off. You're paying.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you'd have to host all your stuff privately, get your own,
so there's like
server in
huge
your
movements
basement.
around that. Like like if you like seen like digital identity shit, like decentralized identity.
Oh yeah.
It's like the idea like around a lot of that. I have some friends who work at it, and it's like you own all your shit.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when you were saying like enforcing the copyright in your code. If you could, still make good, clean, usable code that you'd be proud to put your name on, but then like cryptographically sign it in ways that are like obfuscated and sprinkled throughout, but like it becomes your signature for people who are in the know and who can pick that out. And people will find stuff and be like, "This is an original Ken Wheeler, and here's how you can tell."
Right, and I think if they get sued like enough, right, they're gonna kind of have to put those checks and balances in place, and like I don't know. Like if you own your own shit, right? Like right now, like Facebook owns all the pictures that you uploaded to there. Twitter owns all the shit that I uploaded to there. But like if I owned all my shit and then I'm kind of just granting them access, right? They should be paying me for that.
Mhm.
And then if AI wants to come and use my code as training material,
Then you should be paid for that.
pay up, bitch.
Yeah.
And then like you should just get compensated accordingly. So I think it'll be an interesting decade for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean,
Either
if it
that,
was,
yeah, or I'm just gonna start a peach orchard.
yeah, there you go.
I just got back from Depot. I bought a single peach tree. I'm very excited about that.
Nice.
I
Nice.
haven't planted it yet. I'm still analyzing where sun conditions and aesthetics, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be so peach rich. It's gonna be incredible. Late summer.
They are they good in your environment? Like
Yeah,
weather, the
absolutely.
soil, all the conditions are there?
This is downright peach country.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Apple country as well.
Oh, sweet.
Corn and tomato as well.
Oh, so you can just start a farm.
New Jersey's the Garden State.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense then.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic soil, fantastic conditions, seasonal, sadly.
Mm.
But what we do is we'll go and it's like a very corny family activity. Is you have peach picking, apple picking, pumpkin picking. And peach picking is the first of the pickings late summer, and we'll go and pick said peaches and then come back and slice them up and make like flatbreads and shit. So I think it'll be cool to just be able to have peaches on deck.
Yeah, that'll be very cool.
At some point,
I'm
you're gonna have a too many peach problem.
You do. You have to give them away. You got to plant it near a fence where people walking by can grab some if they're hungry.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna move into other fruiting trees, and then I'm gonna have to take storage seriously. So anything beyond what's directly consumed. Right now, we can get into like chutneys.
Mm-hmm.
We can get into
Canning,
marmalades,
ciders, mead, peach
mead,
mead. Yeah.
brandy.
Now you're talking.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Peach moonshine. Ooh,
Oh,
wait.
yeah.
Yeah. It'll be a good thing,
Yeah, fucking AI can have the tech. We're good.
You ever sitting there and there's like a peach on the counter, right? And like somebody's like fucking with you, like, whoa, come on, it's a good peach, fucking relax, right? Like if you had like unlimited peaches, you could just, take a glass of white wine, throw like fucking 2 peaches in there, little slices.
Yeah. That sounds amazing.
Right? It'd be
Yeah.
fucking sexy for the gram too.
Yeah.
This
Oh, for
motherfucker
sure.
throws peaches in his wine. Who the fuck is this? Right?
Oh man, I think about staging those shots and like,
Right?
yeah, couple whole peaches in the background you can see through the glass.
Little
Maybe,
like some
one
wicker,
green stem. Yeah. Yes.
some wicker, some like
Fucking
granite countertop.
sunset.
You're like, ooh, wait.
Yes. Now you're talking.
It's got to be like a spritzer, right? Like you gotta have like
A little
like-
bubbles in there.
like
A little.
2/3 white wine, 1/3 seltzer,
Maybe a little prosecco.
2-3 peaches. Well, do you know about Hoochie Daddy Punch?
I do not. You tell me about it.
So I have a summer drink that is the best summer drink. So you take like Pinot Grigio, like peach nectar, triple sec, and what's the red shit?
Grenadine.
Grenadine syrup, and then some fresh fruits. Sometimes vodka if you wanna turbocharge it. And then ice, and that's a Hoochie Daddy Punch, and it's a day drinking beverage, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds like, yeah, you could serve it to all your guests at the pool party.
That's right. Or just like regular Saturday hanging.
Yeah.
I remember last year when I went to React Miami, which I'm going to in 2 weeks.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, well, it's less than 2 weeks now. It was 2 weeks from Thursday, so I got down there and like everyone's hanging, like all the like, speakers are at the same hotel, so everyone's like hanging out on the same like little couch nook by the pool, and there's like a hot tub there, and there's like a little thing where everybody's like drinking this or that. But it was like the middle of the day, and I asked them. I said, "Hey, um, can you make this drink for me?" I'm like, "You might have the ingredients, but you could like charge like the sum of the, whatever like the cocktail would be." And they're like, "Sure, what is it?" I'm like, "It's called a Hoochie Daddy Punch." I drank like 3 or 4 or 5, 6 maybe of those things while sitting in the hot tub.
Nice.
And it was awesome, number one. Number two, right? I'm like, all right, everybody, I'm gonna head back. Like I just got there and went right to the pool. So I'm gonna head back, clean up. We'll see everybody the speaker dinner, whatever. So I get back to the room and I'm like, all right, just gonna just rest my head for a second, right? I wake up, it's like 12:30 at night. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, are you kidding? So like there's like 470 missed calls on my phone from my wife.
Oh no.
And I'm like, like text messages like, you motherfucker, where the fuck are you? Yeah. So like I call her, I'm like, hey, I'm like, this is gonna sound crazy, but like I literally just woke up. She's like, you are such an asshole. She's like, I thought you were like arrested or something. I'm like, nope, just fell asleep drunk.
Nice. Well, it's good that you woke up and called her. And you didn't. Were you a speaker or just a guest or
No, the
attendee?
speaker.
Nice. So, were you able to make your speaking time and everything?
Oh yeah, no, that was like the next day, like midday.
Ah, perfect.
No,
Awesome.
when I woke up at like midnight, dude, I was like, I called her and I'm like, all right, I'll call you tomorrow. And then like I went and I called up I'm like, you guys still out? They're like, yeah. I'm like, give me the address. I'll be there in like 15 minutes. Take like
Sweet.
fast shower, like let's go. Just fucking rallied. It was awesome.
That's awesome. Party weekend. I love that.
38 years old. I'm too old for this shit, but I still do it.
And so it's all right. I went the last tech conference I went was an event apart in Boston.
Oh, sweet.
It's like 2018, 2019. It was amazing. It was all front end focused, but it was really cool because everything was super every single speaker touched on accessibility and inclusivity in design, which was on the one hand like really cool for me to be there and be a part of it and really internalize everything and know that the work I was already doing was on the right track toward that. But it was also kind of depressing to come back to my more or less corporate job and be like all enthusiastic. And they're like, yeah, no, can we check the box by default if people aren't in the UK? Like,
can you go ahead and remove that outline?
We just want to, yeah, I don't like the outline. Can we make it light? Can we make the text lighter? I like it to look really elegant. I'm like, people can't read it. It doesn't pass contrast.
I'm actually in a position where contrast matters. So that's very exciting to be able to have that like kind of like by default. Like contrast is like I make like financial trading apps.
Oh yeah, that's a big thing.
So like contrast is super important, and it's very cool that that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a lot of like design committees telling me how it should look and everything like that. I'm like, this is gonna be bright yellow on black.
Yeah. For me, it's a battle that I've won in so much as people begrudgingly comply when I catch them doing it wrong. I'm like, you can't do that. We have to change it. And like, sometimes I'll get a designer who will work with me and they're like, well, show me how these two colors need to be adjusted to have the right contrast. And if they look terrible, we'll pick other colors and we'll go back and forth until something satisfies all the needs. But if they're not willing to do that, then yes, absolutely. Black text on yellow background. That's what we're doing today.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny how that works out. Like I've had like over the years, I made this like open source carousel library, and over the years caught like a ton of shit for it, right? Like, oh, fucking carousel bullshit, carousels are bad. I'm like, don't fucking tell me. I don't fucking like carousel. The entire reason I wrote the shit is because designer after designer after designer after designer was like, I want the biggest, craziest carousel fucking possible.
Mm-hmm. Everything has to be above the fold. So can we just put it in a carousel?
Yeah. So I got tired of writing them from scratch.
Hmm.
So I wrote my own, which was like a very like extensible one, and like tried to do the right thing at the time. Like area roles were like fucking hot, right? And like now, like a lot of the thinking on that has changed, and it hasn't really been updated that much. But like at the time, I tried to do the right thing, despite it being a carousel. And yeah, fucking designers who just fucking everything up all the time.
Hmm.
Designers are like, I'm gonna kill you, you motherfucker.
I have that problem. Designers who don't understand responsive design at all, and
Oh,
they're not thinking about that, or like I don't know, like who are things that need or ought to be actual text, and they just like want it in the image so that it works just like they want it to.
that was
It's
like one of the first things that I
a
did in
fight.
that carousel that was like novel at the time was like breakpoint specific settings. So like if you took the window down, like you didn't need two carousels, right? Like when like you'd have like the big fancy bullshit one
Mm-hmm.
on the web version, and then when you went to mobile, right,
Truly
you kind
responsive.
of you had like the simple swipey boy,
Yeah.
right? So it would like init and deinit, reinit or whatever, right? Like if you swap breakpoint boundaries, and like at the time that was now everything does it. Now it's like how fucking Tailwind is has it built in and shit, but like
Right.
at the time it was extremely novel
Yeah.
to have
Yeah, for sure.
responsive accoutrements in a jQuery library.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've built a couple of those from scratch and or swapped in different frameworks to help with it. Like this one looks really nice, but it doesn't have like touch effects, so I have to swap in a different one. And yeah,
You know what
it's
my
been
favorite is?
hmm.
As a carousel man's carousel. I really like Flickety by Dave DeSandro. That was like an incredibly thoughtfully designed one.
Nice.
That's
Nice.
a that was a magnificent carousel.
I've been fortunate not to have to use one in a long time, but next time I do, I'll
Neither.
check out
I
Flickr.
haven't built those kind of sites in like fucking 7 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
It's been
I
all
think
like
people have kind of gotten away from it a little bit.
it depends. Like if you're like WordPressing, that shit is like extremely alive.
Mhm. Yeah.
But if you're doing like SaaS dashboards or something like that, much less so.
That's true, but I think even with the WordPress like brochure or whatever site it is in WordPress, they like the big static hero image a lot more nowadays.
Mhm. What you end up is you end up with like the who we are, what we do shit, and that gets swiped. Or now one of the biggest places you'll see it is the testimonials.
Right. Yes, we
Those
still do that. The
testimonials,
reviews, yeah.
that shit is in there hard. They used
Bob
to
from
do it a lot.
Florida loves this.
Right? Bob doesn't exist.
No. No.
But they used to use it a lot in product, right? In e-commerce. And I
Mm.
saw a newer pattern that I really like, which is where it's free scroll. It's like overflow X scroll, so it's like the scroll bar is visible, so
Mm.
you know
So
to
you can
scroll
just
it. So
yeah.
instead of like scrolling like three at a time, right? Like you just free scroll to the end, and
Mm.
it's usually set up with like a scaling so that like you see like three and like half of the fourth one, so that along with the visible X scroll bar is like enough of a cue that this thing is scrollable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, that totally works. I've seen one too that's like vertical where in an e-commerce setting, so it's got the main product image and then the subsequent ones smaller below, vertically stacked, but as you're scrolling down the page, like the product description, it brings the subsequent ones up into the main space and you see them
Mm.
larger. So I've only seen that once, but I thought that was pretty cool.
Ecom's always doing some crazy ass shit, depending on the website. Like,
Yeah, this
there's some
was like
fun
a
stuff.
fashion clothing brand.
I used to work exclusively in fashion.
Really?
Yeah,
How was that? I mean, you've got
interesting.
great style. Is that where that comes from?
This was different.
Hmm.
I made like Tom Ford's website, and I mean, along with other people, but like NARS Cosmetics, Fresh Cosmetics, Marc Jacobs, like a lot of like, I mean, not the site now. If you go to site now, it's completely different.
Yeah.
But like then they were all on the same platform that we all worked in. So we made those, and that was really interesting. Like going into these places, like you go into the store and it's like cool, but like when you go into like their actual building, like you start to get like access to funny things like sample sales and shit like that, or you see like notable pieces. I was not very like fashion literate prior, and like
Mm.
there and like you start to see like the business of it and like merchandising, things like that, intersections of merchandising and marketing and understanding as a technologist, understanding their needs and like letting them more effectively do their job, right? Which is like just push cloth off the shelf, which was chill.
Yeah.
It was,
How
it
does
was it was fun.
how does it compare to like finance or in terms of
Completely
the
different.
needs? Yeah.
Yeah, it's completely different because a lot of time in that particular thing, it's like curation and storytelling. So they're wanting to go and do content management. They're wanting to. I mean, I guess there is a little bit of overlap, right? Like you can have like these like the sale logic is very similar to like alert style logic or something like that. Am I? Did
You have a guest.
I do have a guest. What's up, Lo?
Nothing.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a little bit of overlap, but it's like the difference of like SaaS kind of dashboards versus landing pages kind of thing. What are you doing, bud? You're waiting for me? You gonna come say hi? Say hi.
Hi.
Hi there. How are you?
Good.
This is
It's good.
Lola.
Hi, Lola. It's nice to meet you.
It's me too.
What are you
Thank
about to go do, Lola? In like an hour.
Birthday party.
Not hers, but she's going to one. Is it a trampoline place or a bounce house or what?
Trampoline.
It's a trampoline place. That's exciting.
Super fun. I hope you have a great time.
I'm gonna get my phone.
Oh, I actually don't know where it is.
You don't?
No,
Did you look?
I did. You know what? It used to be right over there, but now it's not there. So I need to hunt it down. Okay. So you go prepare to party, and I'll be up shortly.
Okay.
She's waiting for an old iPhone.
Oh, she's adorable.
She's a funny little character.
Is she your oldest?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. She's 9 going on 10. I have another 6-year-old daughter, and then the boy's about 18 months.
So those are great ages.
Yeah, real squad.
Yeah, for
Fucking pain
sure.
in the ass for traveling.
I remember those days. Mine are all. My youngest is 10 now.
Nice.
So yeah, it's I mean, for me anyway, it's gotten so much easier as the
Really?
years have gone
Did
on.
it? It gets better?
Mhm. Yeah, way better. Yeah, and more fun too, because they're like smart and
Yeah.
funny and just like hold a conversation, listen to your ideas and take them into consideration and have counterpoints and like yeah, they're like legit people. It's fun.
She's pretty legit person.
Yeah.
Right now.
Well, imagine like once the little guy is that age.
Hey, can you just like be like, hey, we're gonna go out to a restaurant. Get in the car, and they do.
Oh, absolutely. They get stoked for it. They're like, yes.
And you're like,
Or
hey,
if they're not stoked for it, they're old enough to stay home. You can
that's
be like,
crazy.
okay, you can chill here and
And you
fucking
get
play
to the
Xbox.
restaurant and you're like, hey, everybody, like, get out of the car. And they do.
Yeah. They get out of the car and they sit, in their chair at the restaurant till the meal is over. There's
They can
no
go to
like,
the bathroom by themselves.
yep, no crawling under the table looking for gum stuck there or,
This sounds like tall tales.
no, it's true. I swear. Yeah, it's way better. Everything's easier, and In my opinion. I mean, I miss the little days. Like sometimes I look at them and they'll make an expression that I haven't seen since they were babies, and I'll be like, "Oh, I miss you
You're
small."
like, God damn, when hung go. But
But yeah, but at the same time, like, no, it's way cool.
it's got to be like a lot funner, like net funner, right? Like you can be like, hey, let's go do the dumbest shit ever, right? And then, like it's not like, oh, we have a baby, we can't do that, right?
Right.
Like who
Yeah.
wants to rent ATVs and fucking, and they'll be like, let's do it.
Sweet. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Steal
That'd
the
be cool.
neighbor's golf cart right around the neighborhood.
It'd be cool, like actually like do things, right? Like, you know, I'm like, oh, you want to go fishing, right? And then, you know, and it's like I'm fishing and they're like throwing rocks, right? But like,
Yeah.
3
All
fucking
that.
rods in the water. Now we're talking business.
Totally. Yeah. 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 It's gonna be a good time. Trust me.
So while she's at the birthday party, me and
I lost your
yeah, actually,
video.
speaking of, yeah, that's actually really funny. Speaking of accessibility, right? I think my last focus was actually on the video button. So when I hit the space bar by accident
Ah,
and
yeah. That
toggled
makes
it,
sense.
wow, how much fun is that?
Let's learn something new every day.
But while she's at the trampoline thing, you know where we're going?
Where?
PF Chang's.
Nice.
There's one right down the road. So we don't make it there very often, but like the birthday party's out and like, you know, it's like the place where you'd only go if you were gonna go to the mall.
Gotcha. Yeah, we have similar districts.
2
Mall
hours,
district.
2 hours to kill out of mall land. Uh-oh. Couple lettuce wraps.
That sounds amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's chain restaurant time.
Oh god, I love chain restaurants so much.
Me too.
Everybody like shit talks them, but it's like fucking amazing. Like you know what you're gonna get.
Yeah. Yeah.
You go to P.F.
I-
Chang's anywhere in the country, you know what's like they're gonna be the same lettuce wraps.
For sure. And I love me some Olive Garden. I think that's delicious.
I love Olive Garden so much.
Nice.
And people are like, you live in New Jersey and like Olive Garden. I'm like, it's different. You don't understand. These breadsticks are so. Did you ever see that time when I had the breadsticks?
No, I don't know if nope, don't remember the breadsticks.
So we got Olive Garden to go one time. We ordered it, and for whatever reason, they gave me an absolute briefcase of breadsticks,
Wow.
like 2 Alfredo sauces, and like I shit you not, like this by this, right? Like that depth, like fucking literal briefcase, like 35 breadsticks. I must have like rizzed up the hostess or something and like expressed my love for the breadsticks because they gave me like a lifetime supply. I still have some frozen as we speak.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
take these breadsticks like super fucking seriously. Wait, where are you located?
Central Texas.
Oh,
So,
nice.
Yeah, we're gonna be right in the path of the eclipse. It's crazy. There's
You're
so much.
in the path of totality.
Yeah, we get 2 whole minutes.
When the
Gonna see
demons
it
come out, tell
right
them I
from
said what's
my
up.
back right. Yeah, for sure. I will tell him. Ken says hi.
When the earth cracks open and the CERN demons fucking float out,
Yeah,
tell them I said what up.
you got
That's
it.
kind of
man.
cool though.
Yeah,
I
should
got a
be
little freaked out because we had like the earthquake yesterday.
right. I was gonna ask you about that.
I wasn't even there. I was in
Oh,
Puerto Rico.
you were in Puerto
and
Rico.
I was in the Puerto
So-
Rico airport, like 30 minutes from boarding a plane to go there. And they're like 4.8 earthquake in fucking New Jersey. And I'm like, oh great, that's a ground stop. But it all worked out. I landed fine and everything like that. But yeah, like this close to the eclipse with all the the things floating around about, you know, demons emerging from the earth.
And
We'll
it
see
was
how
a
it goes.
4.8 earthquake, and the eclipse is on 4.8. So
Oh my god. Oh. Oh. That's sick though. Did you have glasses? Do you have the glasses?
Yeah. I bought some from like I don't know. I went through NASA and found one of the retailers that they recommended, American Paperware. So they're legit. Good glasses. Bought a 6-pack for the fam.
Lit.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be fun. I mean, I want to stay home just because we will be able to see it from my backyard. So there's no reason to go out and be among the masses of people.
Have you seen people start rolling up into your area yet?
Oh yeah. So I was driving back from a couple towns over today, and the traffic was
Oh boy.
way. It was like rush hour coming home from work traffic, except on a Saturday morning. So it's
I,
getting a little.
I know a
Yeah.
lot of
It's
people
a,
are going to like upstate New York for that.
oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we get like, I don't know, 80%,
Oh, that's not bad.
75% total. I mean, it's like way outside of the belt, right? But like,
Yeah.
it should be enough to get like darkish. I want to
Yeah.
run outside in a fucking loincloth and do the whole apocalypto thing. That'd be sick. Just
But
run right
I'm
into the
not.
woods across the street from my house with a
Oh yeah.
fucking bone dagger or something.
That would be crazy. I
Fucking
I
fall
think
to
you
my
should.
knees. That'd be sick.
Yeah, man. So we've been almost an hour now, and I know you've got an old iPhone to find, so we can go ahead and wrap up. We've covered pretty much like everything I have
Is there anything
as
else
far
on
as
the docket
questions.
there?
I mean, we did talk about the current state of the industry and what you think of for the future, but more it was kind of AI focused. So if there's anything outside of that you'd like to touch on.
Um, so there's an interesting thing going on in software, and it is the rise of the influencer. And it's funny I say that because a lot of people accuse me of being an influencer when I'm not really. Like, I just talk shit. I'm not really allowed to talk about what I do, like a day job. So like I just talk shit on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, you influence people, but you're not selling
I'm
anything,
not like
as
making
far as I
fucking
can
YouTube
tell.
videos or courses or anything like that, right? I'm just like
Right.
talking shit. You
I think
know,
people are drawn to that because it's genuine,
like
and so it's like, you know,
it's not
I
like
don't know.
here's how to use Next.js. I'm like, yo, there's fucking iguana shit in the pool. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I don't think it's necessarily like a bad thing, right? I think that at least I see in my own kids that like that's like a very popular thing for everything is YouTubers and that particular medium, right? So it's inevitable it's going to happen here. I've heard a lot of
Mhm.
bitching about it, but I think it's a good thing. I think whatever gets the kids jazzed about programming, even if the jobs won't be there, it's a fucking AI. But is it really ever? I don't know. For me,
the
it wasn't about the job.
the passion projects will be there because if you like, I don't know. I was talking to my kid earlier when I was setting up for this, and I was like singing to myself, what, like, remembering why I got into this, and I was like, to get the money. And my kid was like, what? And I was like, get the money. That's not the only reason I got into tech. And that's kind of like the idea behind this podcast, is to remind myself and others that this is fun. It's always been fun. We're drawn to it because it's fun, because we enjoy it, because we're passionate about it, and because it gives us an opportunity to participate in the world in meaningful ways. So yeah, that's always going to be there. AI can't replicate that piece
Anytime
of it.
I try to give talks, what I do, it's the goal has always been to be like be entertaining and be fun and show people fun things that they can do, like make things and things like that. Like, like if you're giving a talk about like, here's how to optimize databases or something, right? Like I'm not saying that's not valuable, but I'm not gonna listen to it.
Right.
And like
And for
the
for some people, that's like, yes, how do I
yeah,
optimize my database?
how do we get that bitch faster?
Yeah.
But I know like a lot of my favorite talks have been like the weirdest shit ever. Charlie Gerard. Have you ever seen her talks?
I hadn't, no.
Fucking sick as shit ever. Like I've seen a few, and I saw one in person ever. But yeah, it's always like the sickest shit. It's like the video games or like 3D fucking shit or like just really creative stuff. And I like that a lot. Like I remember like there's one talk like Steve Kinney did, which was like all like music and like how to like do like and then there's like the robot talks, how to do robots, or like this dude, like I saw one like some dude's like, oh, here's like how I built like the ultimate fucking garden with code, and like shit like that is great. Like 'cause I think like coding just for coding's sake, like and like for me, a lot of my successes have been building dev tools, right? Like just coding to help people code, right? Which is a little whack in my opinion. Some of the favorite shit I've ever done is when you take you marry adjacent passions to the tech and let it like fucking enhance that, right?
Yeah.
Like that time I made a robot crossbow.
Did you really?
Yeah, you don't know about that?
I don't know about that. Do you have it?
You want to see it?
Is it nearby? Yeah, I'd love
Yeah,
to
it
see
is.
it. What?
So they asked me to do a talk in London, right? And I said I wanted to make a robot crossbow. So here it is. And what you have here is two boards, right? And they control these servos here. You have one servo here, one servo here. One does the up and down, one does the left and right. Right?
Whoa.
And then I had to figure out how to pull the trigger. So I got this linear actuator that like extends, right? Originally I used one that was like for like a car door, right? And that's what this relay on the back is for. I don't know if you can see it, this fucking thing right here.
Oh yeah.
But you know, the relay will make it go forward or back, right? But I had like a car door one. The problem is that the force curve on it wasn't enough to pull the trigger. The trigger requires constant force. If it was a gun, it'd be a different story. But bows require a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
Wonder, is that fucking thing still on? No, it is. Oh, it went to sleep. Hold on. I'm getting back in here. Okay. Yeah, there's also a fucking laser taped to the bottom.
Oh, sweet.
Sharks with freaking laser beams. So, and the coolest part that I really enjoyed about this, like engineering wise, is that it runs off of a 9-volt battery. Like that's pretty hard.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, hold it up a little higher. There we go. Nice.
9-volt battery it runs off of. Well, too. And this right here is the key to the castle. This is a HM10 Bluetooth low energy.
There you go. Now it's in
Peripheral.
focus. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So I made a React Native app that lets you control this fucking thing. So basically what you have is you have like an XY pad and like a joystick, right? XY pad on the screen. And that'll make it go left, right, up or down. And then I wanted to protect the fire button because I didn't want it to like just get nudged and the fucking thing's like, beep, right?
Yeah.
So like I experimented with like a couple different things. Like you have to have like 2 fingers on the screen, like hold this and then bring this and then cock it down, like
a safety.
like a right angle pattern, right? And only then would it be like eligible to shoot.
Dude.
And it was just
intense.
like the funnest fucking thing ever. So a funny story about how it actually went down is that like a week before the conference was the Westminster Bridge terrorist attack.
Oh.
So like I had already been in talks with like, you know, I don't know, fucking whatever England's shit is about bringing it in. And the conference organizers are like, I'm terribly sorry, but we cannot allow you to bring a crossbow into the country at this time. I'm like, okay, no, that's fair. I'm like, backup plan. I'm like, can you get like a Nerf crossbow, right? And I'll like retrofit it. And they're like certainly. So like I go over there, right? And I just bring like the chassis there with no crossbow on it. And I had to like on the spot, like in like, you know, like a 18-hour period, they got like a purple and pink like little girl's crossbow, like Nerf.
Yeah.
And I had to mount it to that, like modify it and mount it to that, and it worked.
Nice.
They gave me like a knife, like a saw knife, right? Which was like questionably legal in England. Like they're like that man has a fork, stop him. So like I went like cut like the trigger barrier off to make it fit and like cut it down, even like that, right? Like it's weird the amount of mechanical engineering that goes into this sort of thing. Like I had to like remove like a ton of stuff and skeletonize it so that the weight was fucking acceptable. Right?
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Well, was the plastic one easier then? Weight-wise?
Weight-wise, it was no problem. Dimension-wise, it had to get cut back so like actually like clear like the relay. It had to clear the relay and then like sit flat on the platform.
Did I
So
have balance issues? Like,
no, so what I ended up doing was I got like roofing screws and put it through the bottom into it, which got it like pretty. It was fairly secure. The one problem was that like 1 out of 3 times it would not, like, I guess, like go back far enough to pull the trigger. So, but what ended up happening was I'm on stage and I had like a really recently introduced coworker, this fellow by the name of Phil, and I brought him up on stage and said we're gonna test it on you as an introduction. So he sat there, and I did it. I said, and it said, and shot him in the chest. It was awesome, but it was just a nerve, so it was okay. But everyone understood that it was incredibly deadly and accurate, an absolute weapon of war,
that's
if I do say
awesome.
so myself. And
The
then I got
robot
home.
wars are here.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm gonna have these auto turrets now. Now that I'm familiar with the technology, there's Canon here. I'm gonna fucking set up auto turrets on my roof, and Sam Altman's AI dogs are gonna show up, and I'm gonna
God,
have
that's terrifying.
bump fired wazers with fucking turrets on the roof. Like it's a crazy future. It's gonna be crazy.
That's wonderful. Okay, I love that. Is there video if you're talking London?
Mhm.
Is that, can you shoot me a link and maybe we can put it in the description on the show?
Yeah. React London. The name of the thing was Weapons Grade React. I actually
Oh, that's fantastic. What a good name.
So I have a very short, very funny story about this one. I'm sending the link over.
Yeah, no problem.
So I wanted to make like a video of it working, and then like also like a fake advertisement for it. So I developed a fictional company called Wheeler Defense Systems, and I had I had my shirt, and then I had an additional shirt made, and then set up an arm wrestling tournament at the conference to win the other shirt. And so I wanted to make this like promotional video. I just slid you the link in here.
Got it. Yep.
And I wanted it to look fucking sick, right? So like we have like a decommissioned military base here, like in town, like a mile away. And like they have like a museum with like military vehicles throughout the age. Like they have a Jeep that fires nukes and shit, like sick shit.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's also where my kid goes to STEM camp.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so I and they also had like the sickest Halloween like fucking thing. It was like base of terror. Like you'd go through like this like shut down military base, and like they had it like done up like a Fright Fest kind of thing.
Whoa.
They don't do it anymore, but it was like the best thing of all time. It was like amazing. I can't believe that doesn't exist anymore. I was walking through with my daughter, and she's like all scared. I'm like, don't worry, it's just fucking dorky theater kids. And fucking the one kid's like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So I call up the base, right? And I'm like, hey, I'm like, would you mind if I like came down there? Like, I built this like robot crossbow, and like I kind of want like take pictures, kind of like put it on like Humvees and shit. And they're like, fuck yeah, dude, come on down. I was like, sick, right? So like this particular camp, right? It's like where like radar was developed and shit, like a lot of like the radar technology. So it's called like a Diana site, right? So they have like a sick fucking radar dish, and they have like a computer museum with like old mainframe computers and shit like that. And it's just so cool. It's like very like Stranger Things, like fucking 80s looking shit, like these like 80s satellite dishes and like old Humvees. You got if you see the video, it's like the funnest fucking thing I've ever done in my entire life.
Dude, that is so sick.
Yeah, it was fucking tight.
That's cool. Is that in the video you sent? Did you get to play your advertisement?
I did. It's at like it's like 2:30. Wait, no, it's at like 2 minutes and 21 seconds.
Nice. Awesome.
And it is fucking hilarious. It's good. I haven't been able to do something that cool since.
Dude, that sounds
I haven't had the
amazing.
time.
That's so cool. Well, I'm sure you will be able to again.
Someday.
You know, when you have the time, maybe a couple years, 2 or 3
when
years.
AI puts me out of a job, or
yeah, you'll have plenty of time.
become a full-time content creator.
There you go. Well, you know, not full time. You got to tend to those peach trees and apple trees and stuff, right?
That's right. My Stardew Valley shit.
Yeah. Yeah. You got, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of opportunity for you for sure.
I'm just gonna be going around the farm. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. The future is bright. So I have one more question, and it kind of pertains to what's going on currently, and that is, what advice would you give to people who are just starting their career in tech right now?
Take any fucking job you can get.
Nice. That's a good one.
Literally take any fucking job you can get. Lie to get into any job. Do whatever you can to get fucking 3 years of experience. Absolutely eat shit. Fucking if they don't want to pay you shit, fucking take it. Because if you
Yeah.
don't have a job, they're not gonna pay you. You're not gonna be getting paid shit either. As long as
Yeah.
they pay you more than what you would be making at like fucking Kohl's or Applebee's, then just take the fucking job, eat shit for 3 years, and now you have the experience.
Do you think tech support, like help desk in a tech company, like a SaaS or something, would be a good
Yes.
entry level, a good way to get
Yeah.
your foot in the door?
Yeah,
'Cause,
no,
like, yeah,
I know guys that work their way up into like systems administration from those roles. I think it's just about getting tapped in, and I think that one of the most important things, it's fucked up because conferences are so fucking expensive now, right? Like to like go to a conference. That's why I feel bad. Like I don't like to give the same talk twice, is because of how much it costs. I want to like respect the audience, give them value, give them entertainment. But really the talks aren't like the big thing about it. It's all about networking. Like you want to go to a conference and make fucking friends. But like because conferences are expensive, right? Like I think that people should go to fucking meetups and make friends. Because in my experience, the only way I've ever gotten I don't have a degree and I'm an HR liability. So the only way that I've ever fucking gotten jobs is by people like vouching and being like, no, he actually knows what he's talking about. He's fucking good.
Yeah, this guy's legit.
He can keep it cool. It'll be fine, right? Like, so I think that, if the piece of advice what I would give them is just absolutely be prepared to eat shit and do it. And like, don't like fucking be a bitch about it. Like go and like work hard, right? Like go be awesome at it, learn as much as you can, and then like that will turn into something better. In the meantime, right now you have a couple years experience that is obvious. And then in the meantime on that, like go to meetups and go network with people because right, like now you have 3 years experience. Now you're at this meetup. You've been, some guy came, spoke at the meetup, him, fuck, get on Twitter, start talking with people, start engaging in conversations and shit. Now you're tapped in. Once you're tapped in, right? Like you sit there, right? Tap in with me. Be like, hey, I have people hit me up. They're like, yo, do you know anybody fucking that can like help me with this thing or wants to get hired for my fucking AI company or whatever the fuck? And I'm like, all right, yeah, let me check what I have going on here, right? Because I have people who are like, hey, fucking, I'm looking for a job and right? And like, if I know you and we interact on a regular basis, like I'd be more apt to be like, oh yeah, I fucking know this guy's great, like that kind of thing. So I think that it's like a big combination of paying dues and networking that is crucial, especially right now. This job market is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I know people that are like very, very good at Next.js that are sleeping in their fucking car right now. And that's like fucked up.
Yeah. I see that like front end web development roles, millions of applicants.
It's
No
fucking
joke,
insane.
millions. Yeah.
And a lot of that's like boot camp culture, which is fine. But it's you gotta set yourself apart here, and like I cannot stress the importance of networking. Like, God fucking damn, that shit is so important.
Right.
I've never gotten a job that I've cold applied to, ever.
Interesting.
I've been rejected by Facebook. I've been rejected by Google. I've been rejected by Palantir. I've been rejected so many fucking places. And the only places that I've ever worked is places where somebody was like, nah, he's cool. Despite having fucking tens of thousands of GitHub stars and fucking tens of thousands of Twitter followers, all this shit.
Yeah.
Like it's still not easy.
Yeah, for sure. So being an influencer isn't working out all that great?
No, I mean I'm doing fine.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like if
but it's who you know. Like
what I'm saying
knowing
is if
people
I
who
can't
get
get
you
into
in.
Google,
Yeah.
then like understand, like don't feel bad that you can't get into fucking Google, right? Like
Right.
if you're like, 4.0 comp sci at Stanford, you didn't get into Google. Yeah, feel bad because you're probably weird or something, right? I don't know I don't know how you fucking fumbled that bag, right? But like if you like went to like a boot camp or something, you didn't get into Google, like don't fucking feel bad. Like they're incredibly selective and they're fucking actually kind of weird, to be honest with you. At the end of the day, you don't really want to work there. Like
Yeah, that's what I've heard. It looks good on the resume, but don't make a career out of it.
the whole FANG thing is such a bunch of fucking dorks. Like if you, it depends on your risk tolerance. Right? If you only gig, like that's fine, right? Like that's what I want. I don't have any risk tolerance for startup shit. But like if you're like younger and you're like breaking in and you have risk tolerance, like go to a startup, get a fucking bag. Like so many of my friends, I'm an absolute salaryman, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like fucking cake the fuck out like that. But like I have so many friends who like went to startups and were there for like 10 years and then they exited. Now these dudes have like $5 to $10 million and like never have to work again, but they just like are able to do what they want with zero risk. So they go into other startups and then fucking make another $10 million. And then they're like, oh, I think I'll start a family office, right? Like,
yeah,
like you can do whatever the fuck you want. And I'm not quite there. Not even close. And I don't even have the risk tolerance to be able to take that on yet. So
yeah, that's understandable though. I mean, I think once the kids are older again, or like if one like
I don't need that much money.
You do so much like on the side. Like I see you doing music all the time still, and like it's entirely possible that could just become something.
The thing is that after a certain amount, like your life doesn't really material improve, right? Like you just get like a better trim on your car.
That's true.
As long as your bills are paid, like that's generally like a pretty satisfying level. So yeah, I'm not like I have to have $10 million, right? Like I don't need like to. Let's be real with each other. I'm gonna fucking die from alcohol before fucking retirement is even an issue.
That's fair. I mean, I feel you.
I'm not gonna be sitting there.
I'm in that club too. I'm not gonna be sitting there
80 and broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
If I don't get killed, if I don't get killed in the robot wars, then yeah, this isn't like a 120-year plan here. Fucking, but at the same time, right? Like, what do you need that for? What do you need that? What do you really need that for? I don't.
No, you need enough to. You want to leave enough to your kids that they can do anything, but not enough that they can do nothing. Sort of, is that?
I want them to build character. I want them to do this or that, but
yeah,
I think that I don't know. At the end of the day, I have actively passed up many opportunities in order to stay remote, so that I can live where I want to live, which is around family, so I can be remote, so that I can see my kids every day. Like I know dudes that like fucking like go and like commute to work, right, and like leave at 5 a.m. to get to the job on time. They come back at like 8 p.m. They see their kids for like fucking half an hour a night. And then like on the weekend, they're like, hey champ, you ready for like 6 hours of hanging out? And like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
I mean, I'm very happy I'm full remote now. It took a long time though.
Like, it's not easy.
It's not easy. And it does like I remember when we finally like after COVID and lockdown and we had like the return to office and we were like, yo, can we get like 2 days from home? Just 2 days, please. And after a few months, we finally got that. And now, it's a special situation and it's full remote and it's the best. It's so much better. Like, I like the zero commute. I like being here when my kids wake up. I like hanging out and like making them lunch if I've got time.
They come home from school. You're like, how'd it go? Oh, I got like 2 hours, but holla at your boy, right?
Yeah.
It's fucking tight. It's like the best. And then like on top of that, like the most important thing, and I mean this seriously from the bottom of my heart, the most important fucking thing about remote, hands down, is farting.
Oh, yeah. for sure.
Like when I'm in an office, I can't put headphones on because I'm self-conscious. I'm like, am I gonna fucking fart and not realize it?
You don't realize it doesn't matter.
I'm like, like I'm sitting there in a meeting, sitting there fucking turning coal into diamonds. I'm like, but like at home, right? In this office right here, right? All you have to do, tap the mute button. Tap the mute button, right? And it just
Oh.
removes so much stress from your life.
It really, for me, I make noise while I'm working. I talk to my code. Like, what the fuck? What's wrong now?
I breathe heavily.
Oh, so yeah. And so like, I can't do that around people, or if I do, like I'm aware that I'm being disruptive. So I try to keep it to a very minimum unless I'm like really in the zone. But at home, it's like I don't shut up all day long.
Yeah. And also like I don't particularly like tech monoculture people. Like, you know, like tech people,
Yeah.
like tech people. I don't
Tech.
like them, to be honest with you. Like some are all right. I don't know. I get along with anybody, right? But like,
Right.
you know, you're like, you know, you're sitting there, they're like, you know, 23 years old, fucking trying to like take like power shots at you. Like, hey, have you used this? Like, yeah, I fucking use that. I know the guy who fucking wrote it. Shut the fuck up. You know, like, they're like,
You know, I
oh,
see
me and
people like that online
yeah.
for the most part, but I've been fortunate. I don't think I've actually met any in real life.
Depending on the office you're in, you
Yeah.
can come across them, and it's the worst part is when you're in a whole office full of them. If you're in like a whole office full of like hard tech people, right? And they start getting into some like weird nerd shit that you're not familiar with. You know, and like they're all into it, and you know, I'm like, yeah, I'm into like Big Buck Hunter and Miller Lite. So
Like the occasional like tech conversation, like
I like talking about tech, sure.
yeah, for sure, or like trying to solve a problem collaboratively in real time, like
yeah, no,
in
that's great.
person. That is super fun. Yeah,
But like if you're like sitting there and like you're like at lunch, and they're like,
right.
oh, I fucking cannot get enough cold brew. Shut the fuck up. and cold brew is not even bad. I like cold brew. I just like don't.
Cold brew's fine.
It's not like
but
a fucking
like,
personality.
Yeah, it's not nothing to build an identity around, my friend.
Yeah, a fucking Big Buck Hunter in your house. That's a fucking personality.
It's one facet of it. I mean,
It's an arcade one up. It's not a full.
Yeah.
It's not a full system. I couldn't fit a full system in here.
Oh, it's pretty dope though. It's very, very nice.
I'm the worst. All right, I think I got to take these kids to birthday parties. It was so much fun hanging out.
Yeah, super fun. Thank you so much for being here, for making the time, and I hope that we get to do this again. Like maybe after a couple rounds when I upgrade the equipment. Yeah, for sure. Great.
Anytime you want.
Awesome. Cool, because I know that I've got a few guests lined up now. There's going to be times where I don't, and if I could just hit you up and be like, Ken, let's do the
I'm a
pod.
hard filler.
Love it.
I need about 6 hours notice. So I get one of these bad boys delivered. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yep. For sure. All right, cool. Thank you, man.
You have a lovely ass evening.
You too. Enjoy PF Chang's.
Fucking breaks off them lettuce wraps.
There you go. All right, man.
Talk soon.
See you. Bye.